Over the past month, I recorded myself installing LED lights in the kitchen, the upstairs, the bathroom, the hallway, and I installed some new outlet boxes and conduit throughout the cabin. Many of those outlets were previously just wired to the outside of the cabin. There was literally just wire running up the exterior walls and stapled into the siding, and then there was a hole poked through, and then the outlet was wired into a box. So this video will be a compilation of all that footage of me doing all that work and taking my off-grid cabin in the woods here and energizing it, so to speak, giving it a modern update and energization, if that's a word. So I hope you enjoy. So the lighting in this kitchen has been a problem ever since I got the cabin. It's very, very difficult to see with just these lantern lights in here, these propane lights. So much so that a lot of the times I end up doing dishes and cooking with my headlamp on so I can actually see what I'm doing. But today I'm gonna fix that because I'm going to install some electric lights here above the kitchen sink, above the bar over there, and the dining table. So I'm very excited that this right here is my last set of dishes in these dark conditions. Now going forward, after today, I will have the option to flip a switch and have excellent lighting as opposed to this being my only option. So I'm gonna finish up these dishes and we'll get it going here. See, I feel a dirty spot, but I can't see it. Did I get it or not? Yep. I think I got it, but I can't be sure. So I stopped by one of my favorite stores in the world, Grover's. It's a local plumbing, electrical, kind of all things DIY store, and they have some real experts there that help me out a lot on a lot of the projects that I do. So places like that are hard to find, and they are a gem. So I really appreciate the crew there, and they hooked me up with what will hopefully be everything that I need. Now, before all you electricians get on my case about this, why didn't you just get a pipe bender and bend all of your conduit? Well, I did the math. It actually made more financial sense for me to purchase these individual 90s and these coupler pieces because of how many 90s I needed and the cost of the pipe bender itself. Because I'm not gonna be doing, I don't plan on doing a whole lot more of this style conduit, and they don't rent pipe benders. I was hoping that was the case. If they rented the pipe bending tool, I would have just used that, or I would have just rented it. But so I spent as much money on these 90s and these couplers as it would have cost me to purchase the pipe bender, which I'm probably only going to use one time. So that was my logic behind getting all of these. And honestly, I kind of like the look of this anyways with these coupler fittings. And I was afraid my pipe bending wasn't really going to be looking that great, and these are very precise. So all that said, I should hopefully have all the pieces that I need. Okay, this makes sense to me. That's all I needed to confirm before I start screwing things to the ceiling. Just gonna use this method to take off the sharpness off the end so I don't cut myself or lower the chances of me cutting myself. Overfair. Nice and tight. Yeah. So this big chunk of wood with this nice live edge on it was right here behind the wood stove pipe, but I took it out because the pipe was so close to that. I didn't like that. So I was trying to think of a way that I could use this, and it turns out it's long enough to go between these right here, and this is what I'll mount the light that's going to go above the dining room table to right here. So that'll be pretty cool.
specific. Woman is her. And men the Kupo in the same way. They're great players, great people. They're not as relatable. The consequence of global can be seen first or most brightly or most understandably with this. You're this image. These steps we put a form. I grew up in the 90s, so we watched basketball play the last era of tough physical basketball, if that's a word. Making the game more offense dominated.
Is this worth it? Do you really need the money that bad to be involved in this? Jason, I don't want to be cynical and I'm saying this to be gratuitous, because you know how these things escalate. People get disrespected, they get hit, they get hurt, they get angry, and bang, 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 shoot out at the OK Corral. Okay? And if I'm a venue, and I think that was in Miami, somewhere in South Florida, if I am a building that hosts events on a regular basis, one of those brawls took place, why aren't we surprised about it?
Instead of standing on something, they will fall for absolutely anything.
Game starting, but you know, hearing this news earlier in the day,
Federal government and your job be corrupted, not get fired is insane. So,
Because that's what they are. I mean, if he puts out a policy and they say we're going to slow off this, we're not going to implement it, then
democratic officials.
with nefarious intentions.
No. This, right now you have, I don't know, we are every day laughing together, having conversations. Trump says that it seems, is it Russia? Which is a cartoon on my YouTube channel. It's called Freedom Tips. We're going to be releasing it kind of commercialization is something like the offering of a true diversity that free market types haven't made to the diversity types. If you run an institution, you have one question: why do we exist? Diversity they don't.
Well, it took me all day, but I got the conduit run here from outside to inside, and I've got all of my boxes and everything in place. Over here too, in the dining room area, I had to put together these lights to make sure I put the box and everything in the right place. So tomorrow I will finish wiring everything up, and I'm gonna say this multiple times, I am not an electrician, just your average DIYer, jack of many trades, master of none. So all right guys, so it's the next day and I'm here under the cabin, and here is the wire that goes to the generator, and on the other end it goes to this box. Those of you who saw me wire this room over here know that this is the junction box for the outlets and the lights of that room. And here's that piece of conduit coming down that I just drilled the hole for, so I'm going to run a wire through that piece of conduit over into this box, and I'm going to connect into that, and that will power my lights in the kitchen. Whew, man, that was a lot more work than I anticipated. So there is a lot going on in this box. There's 4 wires total, 3 coming in from this side and 1 over here. And it was more work because I was thinking there was only going to be 3 wire nuts here. 1 for the ground, 1 for the white, 1 for the black. But these wire nuts that I have, they're not meant to hold 4 12 gauge wires, so I had to add a little piece kind of as a coupler, and that's all the more I'm going to explain about that, because those of you who understand will get it, and then those of you who don't, well, again, I'm not an electrician, so let's move on. So basically all the connections have been made here at this box. And now if I turn on the generator, there will be power to everything that I just wired in the kitchen. So I can't turn on the generator yet because I haven't finished. So let's go up and finish everything in the kitchen. And then this part will be ready. So since I can't turn on the generator right now to use the lights in this room, I'm limited on lighting to finish this wiring. So I'm gonna use my battery here and this light. But I wanna explain my thought process a little bit when it comes to this electricity. So again, I just put in this wire, which goes down underneath the cabin to that box and then out to the generator. So once I crank up the generator and when I push in that plug, that sends electricity through to this wire right here. And then once I connect this wire to this wire, the electricity is going to flow to the next point, which is this end of the wire right here. And when I connect this wire to this wire, the electricity will continue to flow. So the way I make sense of this electricity situation is it works like water. You have valves throughout your house and there's a water source. Most people, like if you have city water where you live, the water comes from the city and then it comes to your street and there's a valve outside your house and you have to turn on that valve, and once it's turned on, the water flows to your house. And then there's a shut off underneath your house and you turn that on and the water starts to flow to your kitchen sink. And there's a valve right here at your kitchen sink, and once you turn that on, then the water starts to flow out of your faucet. So electricity works the same way. That's the way I think about it. So when I was planning all this out, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking generator, plug, wire to that plug goes to the box under the cabin. From that box, I connect one wire to another wire and on down the line. And then it gets a little bit more complex when you add in, okay, what lights do I need to power and what switch is going to power which light. So the reason I put an outlet here and a switch right here is because first I need that electricity flow that I was talking about coming from the generator. It needs to go somewhere first. So it's going to go to this outlet. So I put the outlet here partially because that's where the power needs to flow. But also, this is the countertop bar here, and it's nice to have a plug-in if you want to plug in a blender or something like that, or a coffee maker, whatever. So it's nice to have an outlet, and this is going to be the source of all the power from this point. So the power goes into this outlet, and then I'm going to run a wire from this outlet to this switch. Now, this switch is like the shutoff of that kitchen faucet over there. When it's off, the electricity stops flowing. When I turn it on, the electricity starts to flow to the next location in the line of wires that I installed. So the power is going to start here at the outlet, go to the switch, and then the switch is going to control whether what goes next is on or off. That switch is going to connect to this wire right here, which goes to that light above the sink over there. And then next I'm going to go from this outlet right here into this box. And this box is going to have these two switches because there's two more lights. And that's what these two wires are for, those two lights. One of them is this one right here, which goes to these lights that are going to be above the bar here. And then this switch right here is going to control this wire, which goes over to the dining room lights right here. And this wire is going to connect to all those wires that control those lights. Now I'll speed through the wiring process, the black, white, and ground. It's just kind of tedious. Like you can, if you really want to know how to do this, you can look up videos showing exactly how to wire an outlet, wire a switch. I'm not really going to get into that, but I did want to give a little bit of explanation just so like, it's not super rocket science. It's literally the flow of electricity is like the flow of water. Another thing I feel I need to acknowledge about electricity is that I know about circuit breakers and circuit boxes I don't fully understand them. Like, so when I built my tiny house, that had a circuit box, and I had help from my stepdad, who knows much more about electricity than I do. But I do understand the concept of separating rooms in your house or your building or whatever you're wiring. So you have all of the outlets and the lights, let's say in your bathroom, all those wires connect to one point, which go into your box, which has a breaker for the bathroom. That's why in your house you'll see like the labels on the breakers that say bathroom, kitchen, master bedroom, living room. That's because the outlets and the lights are separated amongst the rooms, and you'll have like a 15 amp breaker in your bathroom and a 20 amp breaker in your laundry room, because the washer and dryer in the laundry room takes more electricity than you would use in the bathroom. Or these are just examples. So I understand that concept. Here at the cabin, I don't have a breaker box. The way that this is working is everything runs to the same plug out there. So I understand that this system can get overloaded if you're not careful. Now, it's usually just me up here, and even when there is multiple people, like 4th of July weekend's coming up, there's going to be a lot of people here. I have to let people know when we have the generator running, there can't be someone in the bathroom that wants to use their hair dryer and then someone upstairs watching TV, and then at the same time someone's charging their laptop, and then someone else is in the bedroom doing something else. Like, you can't, or like running a vacuum cleaner, like all these things can't happen simultaneously, because it will be too much for the generator. It's too much for one system. For literally all of these plugs throughout the cabin, they're all going to the generator. So it's, you know, it's not to code, but I understand that. So people who are watching this are like, this guy doesn't. It's true, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I kind of know what I'm talking about, if you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Yes. I did it. Wow, that's really bright. When they're all turned up all the way simultaneously, that is really bright. It's actually too bright. That's crazy. I think middle of the road with all of them is a good balance. This is awesome, man. Well, I can now say with confidence, this glass container is clean. It has no missed spots, and I don't have to squint to say whether or not that's the truth, because I can see it thanks to these new electric lights. Now, don't get me wrong, this kitchen and this cabin was just fine before I installed these lights. Yes, those propane lights are a lot less bright, but they got the job done, and I could still wash my dishes with those lights. And I'm grateful for those, and I'm grateful for everything else about this cabin, because it's a lot more than a lot of other people have. So I am grateful. Now, with that being said, I do believe it was worth the time and the effort and the expense to invest my time and money and effort into a project like this. And that's the case for everything that I'm doing up here at this cabin, because you never know what life holds. I hope that this cabin stays in my possession for the rest of my life. That's what I would like to have happen, but you never know. So I'm trying to do things that add value to me, in my opinion, add value to this place for myself, for the people who could inhabit this in the future, whether that be me or in my family or somebody else in their family. And if it is me, the value is going to be watching other people, including myself, enjoy the fruits of all of this labor that I'm putting in. And if it happens to be somebody else, well, the value is going to be the more money that they spent on buying this cabin than I did, because they're buying a cabin that's in much better condition than when I bought it. So either way I slice it, any possible outcome I see for this cabin, I am adding value. And as long as I'm doing that, and in the process I'm adding value for me personally, because I'm learning how to do a lot of these things along the way, and even the things I'm not learning, I am gaining experience, and I'm challenging my mind, and I'm challenging myself. And based on some of the feedback that I've gotten from people who have watched my videos, it's adding value to other people's lives, which is, hey, just an added bonus. So, and I encourage you to challenge yourself and try and do things that add value to your life, whatever that may mean for you. So I've got this ceiling fan here in the upstairs of the cabin that unfortunately no longer works. It does have power to it, but when you turn it on, it just sits there and buzzes. Uh-oh. Man, you gotta be kidding me. It's very, very old, and so it's just reached the end of its life, and it's time to replace it. So I've got a ceiling fan with a built-in light here. So I'm gonna be replacing the old ceiling fan with the new one, and I'm also going to pretty up the wiring situation for this ceiling fan, because right now it's just this bare wire that's coming up by the stairs and then going up this post into the attic there. So right there underneath the stairs, there's our little Harry Potter bedroom where I'm gonna be working and redoing the wiring under there. And I'm gonna use the same metal conduit that I use with these kitchen lights over here to go up that post. And it's gonna be a lot safer, better electrical situation. And then also there's this mystery switch right here. And it would make sense for that switch to be the switch for that upstairs ceiling fan, but when that fan was working, when I first bought the place and I was testing things out, that switch didn't power that. So I'm gonna try and utilize this. I'm not sure how. A lot to figure out and explore here, discover about my abilities to wire a ceiling fan. A lot of the times I say, I've never done this before, but I have in fact installed a ceiling fan in my tiny house. So it's not my first go around, but it's been a while. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so when I first wired this up to test out the fan, I did this really fancy foam and electrical tape situation to hold all that together. But now that's off of there, let's de-wire. And there's gonna be a lot of headlamp action going on in this video, because obviously I can't have this power on while I'm doing all this, so minimal lighting for this project. All right, we're de-wired. Now it looks like this fan just has a hook, and if I lift it up, turn it to the side, and then drop it down, it'll fall out of there. That's the hook that I'm talking about right there. See that? Oh, there we go. All right, there's the aftermath. I've taken the old fan out. Now a big part of me wishes I didn't care about fixing the whole wiring situation over there, because it's gonna make things much more difficult for me. If I didn't care about that, I would just install the new fan and then I would be done. But because I want to make this situation better and have this running in conduit, I'm gonna have to go up in the attic. So that's gonna be fun. Okay, up in the attic we go. If we spin around here, there's the wire coming up by the stairs, and here's the post that goes into the attic. Here's where that wire comes up. Luckily for me, it's not really fastened in there. So that makes it easy. I'm gonna be sure when I redo this to fasten it and make it better. So what I'm gonna do is pull the wire out of that box that it's in, pull it down through to the room, and then run it through conduit, put it back up here, and fasten it in place. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take these pieces off this post to get that wire out of there. Okay. There we go. All right, awesome. We have broken free from the chains of the post and the attic. And now let's crawl down there. Take a look at what's going on inside the Harry Potter room. Oh yeah, really looking forward to working in here. This is gonna be awesome, man. I love confined spaces. I just love them. All right, so let's take a look at the situation here. We got wires coming up from under the cabin, 2 wires that connect to one more wire in a very safe fashion, not inside a box, just wire nutted up in the exposed air. That's what we like to see. These not stapled within 6 inches of the box, and a lot of things not to code in this cabin. So yeah, everybody criticizing me like, hey man, that's not right. Hey, you got to consider what I've started with. Slowly piecing this thing together, improving things along the way as best I can to the best of my abilities. So this is another project that is going to be better than when I started it. And eventually my plan is to rewire the whole cabin and fix all of the electrical situations. That was actually going to be a dedicated video where I was going to go through and, all right, let's fix this wiring, let's fix this wiring, let's fix this wiring. But it's turning out to be like, all right, I'm going to install lights in the kitchen, and in the process, I will fix this. And then I'm gonna install the ceiling fan, and in the process of doing that, I'm gonna fix this. Next, I wanna work on lighting in the bathroom, and in the process of that, I'm gonna fix some things in there. So it's just this, you know, baby steps, we're getting there. We belong together, and you know that I'm alright. Alright, well, that wasn't what I expected. So where does that wire go? There's a wire that comes up by the stairs, but this is obviously not it. There used to be a stereo system in here, clearly, because there's like wires that run up to the loft up there, and there's like old school stereo wires. And there's a cutout on this wall over here where there used to be like a radio station dial turner, it looks like. So somebody had a nice surround sound stereo system in here at one point, and it looks like this may have been an on-off switch for that, possibly. It's unnatural. There it is. I belong to you. Nice. I found this box in the miscellaneous pile inside the garage of free goodies that I've picked up along my travels. So I'm going to use this here. Tell me who I am and where the wire comes through the wall, and then the wire goes through the hole in the box. The box is fastened to the wall using screws. There we go. Then the wire is stripped. You want to get your knife blade between the wires. Boom. Peel back the insulation. Cut the excess insulation. Now I must strip the wires. Choosing the right gauge on my tool, I squeeze, I pull, and the wire is stripped. Squeeze, pull, wire stripped. And it's at this point you realize you need another wire to go through this box, because that's how a switch works. And so then you put in your second wire when it would have been easier to do before you put the box in, but it looks like it's gonna work out okay. Now you come back and you do the same thing with your second wire. And it's at this moment that you realize you probably should have labeled this beforehand so that you can distinguish one wire from another wire on the other ends. But luckily for me, one of the white insulation is white and the other one is like brown and tan. So I can actually tell the difference over there. But okay, now we've got 2 wires into this box. And we're gonna take our needle nose pliers, make a U shape, and put the black wire on the right side of the switch with the gold screws. Right side meaning when you're facing the switch this way, that's the right-hand side, and these screws are gold. And then you're gonna curl, get your other black wire screwed in there. Make sure they're both nice and snug. There's the black wires. Now the grounds are gonna go together and they're gonna go on this green screw. Curl both of those and then wrap it around the green screw like so. And then you can pinch that, make sure you're wrapped around it really well, and then tighten up the screws. So switches have these gold screws on the right hand side for the black wires to go, but they don't have silver screws on the left side for the whites to go like a plug does. So you take your wire nut and you lock the white wires together. And when you wire nut things, you twist until you can feel those 2 wires combine, and then you keep twisting until, see how my wires are twisting together? That helps ensure they're really locked in place. So don't just twist up here, twist until the 2 wires start to combine all the way down. And then you're going to take your wires and tuck them into your box. And when you're tucking your wires into your box, sometimes it's nice to have sort of like a U or an S shape that you're trying to achieve. So I like to kind of bend up and then bend down like that. It's hard, but it's a combination of 2 things. You have to make sure in the process of pushing everything in there, your wires don't get loosened here, but then you don't have too much of a crazy bunch of stuff in there. So it's a delicate balance that every electrician must learn to master. And I am definitely not there yet, because every time I do this, I get frustrated. Get these screws started with your screwdriver and then come back with the screw gun and tighten them down quickly, because if you start with the screw gun, you might miss thread and then you're going to screw up the threads. If you ever need to take this back off, you're going to be hating yourself for starting with the screw gun. There we go. And you take your cover and you put it on there. And that's when you realize that this type of cover is not made for this type of box and switch combination, but it's gonna have to do for now. And then when you put the second screw in, you say scratch that because I was wrong, and that looks great because once you tighten it down, it actually flattens out. And then you emerge victorious from the field of battle with the switch box. All right, so here's my 2 wires that go up to that switch that I just put together. And they're just gonna be running over here for now. I'll deal with those in a bit. But first I have to make sense of this whole situation because there's so many wires going on here. So these are the 2 coming out of the floor that go to the generator. So right now, if I were to turn on the generator and plug it in, these would have power to them. So what I'm gonna do is combine these 2 wires in holy matrimony inside a box here. 2 will become 1 inside this box, and then above that I will put another box which will have an outlet in it, and that outlet will feed this outlet that before I started doing all this fed the bathroom. So I got to make sure I reconnect the bathroom and add power for the fan and make sure the switch controls the fan when everything is said and done. It's a brain twister for a non-professional electrician like myself, but I think I can figure it out. I have confidence in myself that I can figure it out because I was able to figure out the last electrical stuff I did, which was, what electrical stuff? Oh, the kitchen lights. Jeez, I'm losing it. The kitchen lights. I was able to do that, so I should be able to do this. People say I look just like my dad, 'cause I do. Cause everyone's so infatuated. Pounding on this automatic. For my record, you can be up all night along with songs and the key. You know I'm such a fool for you. Okay, now 2 wires have become one inside this box. So this wire right here, that's my juice. That provides the power for the ceiling fan that I'm installing and the bathroom. Yes, makes sense. To me anyway. So this is my juice. Now I need to run a wire from here to here. Let's go inside this box, this box, this box. What the heck? Doesn't want to puncture. Come on, baby. All right, I got this wire run from here down and over to this box. And this is the first time where I'm doing electricity at the cabin, and I know that what I'm doing is not to code, and I should drill holes, new holes, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna do it. Because this hole right here going through the floor with these 2 main wires that go to the generator, that hole should be inside this wall right here. And then I should drill a hole here and there for wires to run through the walls and not be exposed out here. But I'm justifying my decision because this area that I'm in will never be finished. There's never going to be sheeting on this side. So I know that if an inspector came in here and they looked at my finished product, I know that I would have to redo it. They'd be like, nope, you got to take those out. You got to drill holes. You got to staple it inside the wall. So I'm acknowledging breaking of the rules here. But yeah, this hole's already here. I don't want to drill another one in the floor. Man, that's a tough decision. I'm going to choose to not drill those holes. But this is one of those times in life where you're going to do something knowing that there's a good chance you're going to regret it, but I'm going to move forward. I'm going to move forward. Onward. My headlamp ran out of battery, so relying on the cell phone flashlight here. I can see you. Your breath can shine in the sun. All right, got that outlet wired in there. Oh my goodness. Power has been transferred from the 2 wires coming out of the floor to this outlet here. And from this outlet, I got the bathroom wired and the switch wired. Now I need to connect these 2 wires to make them one for the fan. I'll be just asleep for days. Wired. Boom, baby. Let's go. Okay, just need to put covers on these, and I can get out of this cupboard under the stairs. Whatever you want to do is All right, so I got everything under the stairs finished. New outlet here. And then inside here, I got all these boxes put in. I got this rewired, which goes to the bathroom over there. Those two wires coming from over there go to this box, which is now gonna go to the fan up there at the top of the stairs, right up here. Pops out here. Now I just need to measure and cut a piece of conduit to go up there. The wire's in the conduit, and the conduit is in place. Yes. All right, the wire is going up in the attic now. There she is going up there. Now it's finally time for me to open up this new ceiling fan and light and see what kind of mount and wiring and all that kind of stuff it's got. There it is. This is called a fandelier. Oh, how we all love instructions. All right, we're going out with the old ceiling mount. And we're gonna go in with the new ceiling mount. This is gonna go just like that. The rest of this is just the wiring. These 3-inch yellow screws that I just put up in there, they screw into a 2x4 that's running between the rafters. I'll show you up there. There's the box. It's actually on the rafter itself. That's a cool box. It's built to go on the rafter itself. Nice. Okay, here's the end of that wire. Now I just got to stick it through. All right, the wire's in there. Now I just got to staple my way out. Alright, we're in. Staple there, and Staple there. Staple there. Oh shoot. Yeah. Staple there. One more by the box here. And that's it. Yeah. Oh god. So hot. It's so hot up here. Oh. If you didn't know it, you'd think I was sweating or something. Oh, it's a little warm in that attic up there, but I did it. Yeah. All right, I got everything taken care of in the attic. Now, to finish the wiring here, this fan comes with a remote control. This is the receiver for that, and you actually have to plug this in order for the fan to work. So that goes there, this goes here. This is the antenna, this little white thing, and that's just gonna sit in there. So I just gotta cut and strip my wire here. All right, black goes to black, and white goes to white, and ground goes to ground. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these light bulbs on, but I'm not gonna push all the wires up into the box and cover everything until I turn on the generator and test everything out to make sure it works. All right, let's go turn on the generator and plug in the cabin. Let's see. Oh. Kitchen lights work. Okay. That light works. Okay, let's see. Real time. Uh-oh. Oh. It beeps. All right, let's test out the remote. Light on off. Oh yeah. Okay, fan. Let's see. 1. Oh dude, I have a fan that works. Ha ha ha. Look at her spin. There she goes. All right, let's test out speeds. It's so small that it doesn't. Let's just go for it. Let's go all the way. 6. It's humming. Hey, it's pretty good. It's pushing air. The reason I got a fan this small is because if you look at this handrail here in the loft, that old fan, the blades stuck out over the rail. And so if you were walking along the rail, you could literally hit your head against the blades of the fan. And so I wanted to get a fandelier like this so it had protection against the blade. You can still, I mean, if I wanted to, I could stick my hand in there and really hurt myself, but it's much safer than just having open blades. And you know, the bigger you go, the more this is going to stick out into the loft. So I think it worked out pretty good with the size that it is. All right, well, that's another project down here at the off-grid cabin. Now Got me a ceiling fan up here. This is gonna be great in the wintertime when it's really cold outside and I got a fire burning. The heat transfer is definitely better since I put in this new stovepipe here. But now with the ceiling fan, hot air is naturally gonna rise up and settle in this upstairs here. But I've got this to push that hot air down and get the warm air to other parts of the cabin. Slowly but surely, I'm fixing things up here and really getting this place to where it's comfortable in all conditions. So my remote works and my switch works, and this outlet that I installed works. And let's hop inside the cupboard underneath the stairs. Everything that I did in here is functional. This outlet works. Got my wires coming from the generator. This is where that wire goes up to the fan. Clean things up in here, vacuumed. It was kind of a mess. Oh, and the bathroom wire, that's right in here in the bathroom. This right here, and it is working. Fancy setup going on here in the bathroom. The bathroom is one of the next big projects that I got to tackle, but all in due time. Today is the day where I shall begin the bathroom remodel here at my off-grid cabin in the woods. And the first step in that process is going to be wiring some lights up on the ceiling here. And actually the first thing I want to do is give a big shout out and thank you to my mom. She helped me paint the ceiling, which is the first thing that had to happen before I go and put the conduit up. She was nice enough to volunteer her time to help me do that. And it's looking great so far.
I owed him because he came and helped me put insulation in my ceiling. We spent days working overhead, so.
When she was using the brush in these corners of the ceiling over here. What did you say?
It was payback.
It was payback, yeah. Payback for all that above the head work doing that insulation at her house. Yeah, it's a busy week. I got a lot going on and it was gonna be difficult to do all of the things I needed to do this week and do this painting before I put up the conduit and get a video out by Sunday. So couldn't have gotten this video out in time without the help of my mom. I was so happy with the way that the lights in the kitchen worked out with that metal conduit and all the fixtures that I used, that I want to do something very similar here in the bathroom. This outlet right here is going to be the source of all of the electricity in this bathroom. So I'm going to take this cover off and see what's behind curtain number 1. Hey, and there's an actual box. So you might hear my generator running right now, and it is. But this outlet is not hot right now. I have the generator charging my batteries. The cabin is not plugged in. I am powering this light via one of my other batteries that's separate from the other ones that are being charged. And for those of you who don't know or haven't seen my other videos, this entire cabin is wired to one plug, and when you plug that wire in, then everything works. So right now the cabin is unplugged and this is not hot. So I'm gonna wire a new outlet here because this one is super ancient. And I didn't think this was gonna be the case, but I'm gonna go behind this wall, which is a little cupboard behind the stairs. If you saw me wire the fandelier, that's where I did a bunch of work in there. So I'm gonna run a wire through this box, so there'll be 2 wires into this box, and behind this wall, I'll have a wire going over here to where the switch is gonna be for the lights. As we go inside here, you can see that's the wire for that outlet right there. So I'm gonna run the wire for my lights right up here somewhere. That's where the switch box will be. Yep, that'll work. That'll work. My aim was correct. Somehow I got a feel for that hole and poke it through there from this side. That's gonna be fun. All right, got it. This is my switch box and I'm gonna punch 3 holes. Alright, well, it's coming together here. So at this point, it's just going to be a lot more of this measuring, cutting, sitting, contemplating, thinking, more measuring, more cutting, more thinking, just to make sure I get everything the way that I want it. That's just how I remember it going in the kitchen. A lot of tedious, time-consuming work to make sure that it comes together the way I want it to. $37 3/4. 37 7/8. How I am going to hold all this up, I have no idea. .44 inches, jeez. All right, let's see if I hit the stud like I want to. Come on, baby. Oh yeah, that's solid. Ha! Who needs a stud finder when you got fingers? I got super lucky with the placement of that stud being where it is above the toilet here because I wanted that light away from the wall a little bit because I got cabinets there. If it was too far that way, then the light would shine on the shelves and then block it from getting out. So I like where that light is going to end up relative to the toilet and it lined up with the stud. We'll see if I get so lucky here over the shower because I want it to be ideally centered above the shower here, but I don't know where the stud is. Well, duh, I guess I kind of answered my own question just now because of course, if the stud is there, it runs across the room and it's going to be in the same spot right over here above the shower. Now the question is, how far are those apart? That's 32. Oh man, I think this is going to work out great. It's right there. Oh, it's right there. It's right where I want it to be, in the middle of the shower. Yes. That sounded solid. Nice. All right, now that I got the wire run through the conduit going above the shower, I just need to run wire through this right here, and then it will all be ran. But this run right here is gonna have 2 wires. So that's gonna be a little bit tricky, but I think I can do it. And then after I get the wires through there, I'll explain why. All right, folks, well, the hard part is done, which was putting all the conduit up and running the wires to everything. Now I just have to wire in each light and the outlet and the 2 switches. So the outlet is gonna go here where the power originally came in from, and then that wire runs behind the wall, under the stairs, and pops up right here. And that wire is gonna provide the power to 1 switch here and another switch right next to it. One of those switches will power this light, which is going to go above this area, and it's going to be the same light that I used in the kitchen over there, same style light, same bulbs and everything. And then the other lights will be one there above the shower and one there above the toilet. Shower, toilet. Now the reason there's 2 wires going through this right here is because the wire for the light above the shower goes into this box and then just goes from here right to there and over to the shower. And this wire for the light above here is also right next to it. And I used a Sharpie to label that to differentiate those 2 wires so I know which one's which. And that's how I did it. There's lots of different ways this could have been done, but that's the best way that I could think of to have minimal conduit everywhere and have it look good. What can you do but the best that you can do? And this is what I came up with. So the good news is I'm the one that's gonna have to look at it. So if it is appealing to my eye, then hey, that's all right, I guess. And there's a reason I also did this kind of jog around that area. Eventually I would like to put in a bigger mirror cabinet there that covers almost that whole wall, and that 90-degree corner right there will allow me to fit that. And then this light is not going to move and that light is going to hang over. So I think a mirror cabinet going right there would be perfect. And then I'll move that towel bar over here. So I'm also accounting for that, those future plans. So that's another reason why I did things the way that I did. These are the same lights that I use in that entry room. I really like them, so I bought them again. Love these lights because they're super simple, very easy install. Oh, that's it. Nice. All right, this box is causing me major brain ache right now. But lucky for me, I did this exact same situation over in the kitchen. So I'm gonna go over there and look at what's going on, what I did, and that works. So if I can just replicate that same thing, I can make it work here in the bathroom. All right, it makes sense now. I'm not even gonna try to begin to explain what's going on in this box, but I'm pretty confident this is gonna work the way I want it to. Just got a few more wire nuts to put together here, and then I'll be done. That's gonna be the white light, and this will be the one above the mirror, which is gonna go on the right here. So now I just gotta fit all this in there and I can test everything out. All the wiring is done, finishing touches here, putting in these bulbs, and then I'll be ready to go plug in the cabin, test everything out. Let's see what happens. All right, everybody, so I'm outside. I got the generator turned on and I got the cabin plugged in here. So now that the cabin's plugged in, let's take a look at these lights. They are working. Oh yeah, check it out. The last couple times I've done electrical projects, I have waited and did like a real-time reaction to turning it on for the first time. But because my shower was absolutely disgusting, I had to turn on those lights first, make sure they work, turn them on, and then I saw the shower. I was like, I cannot allow that shower to be seen because it's so gross. So this is the lighting in here before. Now, of course, I do have that lantern light. Let's fire that up just so you can see. All right, so that's the light that puts off. When it's completely dark, you can take a shower in there and still see. But the problem is I have the curtain off just so it's easier to see the shower right now. But when the curtain's on there, that blocks a lot of light from getting in there. That's one of the reasons why I'm thinking of putting like a plastic or a glass door in here. But actually now I don't really need to because I have that light directly above there. But this is what it looks like with the lantern. Like I said, in the dark, in the wintertime, you can see, but compare that lighting to this lighting now with these electric lights in here. And then there's those lights. And like I said, I want to get a mirror cabinet that kind of fills up that space there. But all in due time, baby steps. I'm not really sure when I'm gonna get back to work on this bathroom, remodeling it. Hopefully a couple years down the road, this bathroom will look very different. But for right now, it is extremely functional. It gets the job done. And now it's a lot more comfortable because you can actually see when you're using the toilet and when you're taking a shower. So mission accomplished, people. That's pretty awesome. Nice. Today at my off-grid cabin, I'm going to be going through every single electrical outlet, every switch, anything that has to do with electricity here. I am going to tidy it up, install some new things, repair some old things, anything and everything electrical I'm gonna cover in this video. And by the end, I hope to have everything set up so I can have my gas generator in one location, my batteries in a different location, and I can keep them there, and all I have to do is crank up one or the other and they will work for all different scenarios that I face here at the cabin. Because right now, the way things are, I have to move the gas generator over here in some situations. I have to move my batteries over here in other situations. And it's because I don't have things finished and set up the way that I want them. So today I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get things set up so that it's much more convenient around here as far as electricity is concerned. Last night I went to the store and picked up all these goodies here. Should be everything that I need to do what I want. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. So here's my gas generator. It's a Honda EU 2000i. And here's my stack of batteries, which provide me an alternative to the gas generator. If I want quiet, silent power, I can use these. And I also have 4 solar panels that attach to this, but I'll cover that later. Now, many of you are already aware of this, but the way that the electricity at the cabin works is every outlet, every switch, they all go to this cord right here. And see, these are the types of things that I want to fix because this is kind of a mess here. But everything connects to here, and all I do is turn on this generator and plug the cabin in, and I've got power inside. And then when I pull the plug, the power shuts off. Now there's also electricity inside the garage, aka the off-grid workshop in here. Let me show you that. So as we come inside, up in the ceiling here, or the attic, some of you may remember me installing this, putting all the drywall, installing these lights, all that stuff. There are outlets for which these 4 LED lights are plugged into, and then all of them connect to this wire right here, and I have it wired to this plug. And when I carry all of this outside and I take this wire and plug it into the generator, then I have lights and power inside here. And then I just unplug it from the generator, roll it back up, and move it in here. Again, this is another thing I want to tidy up and fix, make it much more convenient. Now, everything that I just showed you when it comes to plugging things into the gas generator, that same thing can be applied to the batteries. If I plug that cord from the garage into the batteries, it will turn on the lights in here. If I plug that cord that goes to the cabin into the batteries, everything inside the cabin will turn on and work, as long as those batteries have enough juice. So the process is use the batteries when there's enough juice in there, and as you use power from the batteries, that starts to drain, and then you plug it into the gas generator and the batteries fill back up. Now again, I have the solar panels here, and someday I really need to get them set up on the roof so that they're just constantly trickle charging the batteries, so I don't have to run the gas generator. All right, now that we've covered the bases of what's going on as far as electricity here at the cabin, I'm gonna start working my way from this cord right here, and we're gonna follow that cord to each location, and we're gonna fix the next thing in the line. And then once we're done fixing that, we're gonna move to the next one, and the next room, and the next room. So while I'm working on all this, I'm not gonna have anything plugged in to power so I don't electrocute myself. In the meantime, I'm gonna have the gas generator over here charging my batteries. One, two, three. Oh, it's 4 wires. 1, 2, 3, 4 wires into this box. This one goes upstairs. This one goes downstairs bedroom. And this one for the other downstairs bedroom. And this one is for the plug. Now we're going to use this box. All right, I got this new box in and 3 wires going into it. The 4th wire goes upstairs, and that's where I'm gonna make my first detour from this spot. If we follow this wire outside here, it goes upstairs. And this is a pretty hokey setup here. It's just this bare wire going behind this little trim piece. So I'm gonna take that off, and what I'm gonna do is run conduit through a closet and go up through the floor, so the wire will no longer be on the outside of the cabin. So here it is going up the wall here, and then it pokes into this bedroom upstairs to an outlet. Upstairs we go to this room. This lamp right here. There's the outlet. Oh yeah, real professional and safe this was. There we go. All right, now I just got to pull that out of the wall from the outside. I got out as much as I could. I'm just gonna cut it. There. All right, there'll just be a little shorty piece in there that just exists in the wall from now on. But part of the insulation got cut and then it was getting caught between the siding, so that's all right. It'll just be in the wall forever. I think I got enough of this out so that I'll be able to reuse this piece. There we go. No critters getting in there. A couple tricks I just learned about removing these staples. Be sure to not hold your tool like this because you can pinch yourself, get a blood blister like I just did. But get a hold of the staple, pinch it, and then wiggle. Whoa, shit. Get a hold of the staple, pinch it, get a good grip, and then wiggle up and down, back and forth. And that'll kind of break it loose, and eventually it'll break free. Oh, here we go. Oh my gosh. One at a time. All the way down the wall. Oh. 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 So I don't know a lot about the history of this place, but every time I do a project, the history reveals itself a little bit more. So you can see how behind here, the paint is like an orange color. So I think that was the original color. And then at some point, somebody wired this place, ran the wire up the wall, covered it with this trim that I took off, and then painted the entire cabin the color that it currently is. Now allow me to explain what's going on here. I had to punch a hole here, punch a hole here, punch a hole here, because this is going to be a very important box. It's gonna go behind this wall right here. See, this is where that wire was that I just removed. And that window is the bedroom that I'm about to go inside. Here's that window. And to the side of it is this closet here. And inside this closet, this box is gonna go right here. And this line that I drew is where a piece of conduit is gonna go on along the ceiling and then in here. And that hole that I punched is gonna go through a hole in the floor that I'm going to drill right there. And then this hole right here is gonna go down to a piece of conduit that's gonna go through the floor down there. All right, I like what I see. There's a wire and there's a screwdriver down there. Made it through the floor. All right, I'm through the ceiling. Now I gotta go through the upstairs floor. Keep this thing straight somehow. Straight, 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 straight. Till I hit. And then drill there. Oh boy, this is gonna be tricky. Ugh. Right there. Okay, back upstairs to check the damage. I think it's gonna work out. Yes, sirree. There it is. That's gonna work great. Probably need a battery, huh? Alright, so now I'm going to take that wire that was running up the wall on the outside, and I'm going to put it through the hole in the floor right here that goes in the closet and to that piece of conduit. There we go. And up and up and up till it stops. And then I know I'm inside that box. At least I think. No way. I went through the box and then through the floor. Went too far. I thought it was gonna hit right there. That's pretty funny. All right, Right there is good. Right here. This is gonna come out of the closet over here to this first new box. That's the 4th wire I was looking for. Whew. All right, I got these wires tidied up a bit. Now if we go back outside, see how there's another wire right here that's on the outside wall, just like that one that I took off was, and then there's another one over here. There's an outlet on the wall in this bedroom, and then there's an outlet on the wall in that bedroom. So I'm gonna do the same thing that I just did in that upstairs bedroom. I'm gonna remove those outlets, pull the wires out of the wall, run conduit through the floor, and then run it to this blue box. So pretty much doing the same thing over again 2 more times. Wow. Oh, crap. Oh my gosh. Oh, need to get myself one of those easy buttons. That was easy. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and run this wire through the closet into the upstairs bedroom. I did it. All right, working on a bit of a headache right now. Hopefully that goes away, but it might be just because of all the weird positions I put myself in. Recap of what I've done so far. Here's this first box, and inside this box we got 5 wires now. One wire is the plug, runs around there and into the box. Another one is from the downstairs bedroom that comes over here into the box. Another one is from the other downstairs bedroom. There's 2 wires running over there, and they come this way, and then this yellow one is from the garage and goes in here. So this one is done. Now it's finally time to make my way down toward the middle of the cabin and work on that. I think the current headache that I'm feeling is physically induced due to all these movements I've been making, but I can only imagine what kind of headache I would have if I was doing this exact job for somebody else who was paying me an amount that I either quoted them or they were paying me by the hour. Just that alone would cause me a stress-induced headache for sure. There's a total difference in the amount of stress that I feel when I'm doing stuff for myself like this. I can take my time. Of course, I don't want this to take forever, so I'm working as well as I can, but also with an aspiration of finishing relatively quickly. But in the back of my mind, I know I can stop at any moment, I can take a break, and it's not gonna be the end of the world. Whereas if I quoted someone to do this job and I have this like ticking clock in the back of my mind, like, all right, you're this stage into the process and you're still like only halfway done, and you quoted it was going to take you 12 hours and you're like 8 hours in and you're not even close to done. So then you know you're going to be working longer than you charged, and you're still going to get paid the same amount, but you're going to be losing money because it took you longer than expected. And then you're thinking about that after you get paid, and then the next time you paid, you're quoting and you're like, all right, I gotta bid this job better than I did last time, but then you bid it more to account for the fact that this might take a long time, and then you don't get the job because it was too expensive and it was out of the customer's budget. So then you didn't get the job at all. And man, that just like journeyman or like handyman, people like that, those are the types of things that they think about and go through all the time. So you add that stress on top of how physically demanding trades like these are. But the funny thing about the men and women who do these types of jobs, you talk to them and they're just like the most hard-headed, like head down, I'm gonna do my job, I'm gonna provide for my family, and I'm gonna get the bills paid, and then we're gonna go have a good time on the weekend, and then I'm gonna come back Monday, I'm gonna do it all over again. And they just don't let it get to them. And I know many people like that. They work hard jobs, and that's just how they operate. It's just like, this is what I have to do, and this is what I'm going to do to get the job done and provide for my family. So to all those of you who match that description, I salute you. So from that box that I just installed down there, as you crawl down the underside of the cabin, you make your way along here to this point. Now where these wires go up into the floor right here, that is the Harry Potter room, the cupboard underneath the stairs. It's kind of a famous location from previous videos. Now it looks like the last person who did the wiring, for some reason they left this giant coil of excess wire here, and I'm just gonna leave it there. I don't feel like unraveling it and dealing with cutting off the excess. That's just is what it is there. So I got those wires going up into the cupboard under the stairs, and then this wire goes over to the entry room over there. So I'm going to staple that in place, and then everything under the entry room is done. I did that in previous videos. When I did that whole project, I tidied that up and made it all nice over there. So I'm just gonna staple this in place over to this point right here. To this point will be good. And then I'll make my way to the opposite end of the cabin. All right, let's work our way down to the other end of the cabin here. And here we are. Oh, would you look at that? What a beautifully safe situation we have going on here, as per usual. Okay. The portal to the next dimension. So there's those wires that I just showed you, and we got more of the same here. This wire goes up the wall and into the upstairs. And then here's another wire that goes up the side of the wall. I'm gonna redo both of those just like I did on the opposite side. And then here's another wire going into the wall. This one just comes right up the side, exposed to the outside. So we're gonna fix all this. And for those true fans of the channel, here's the Starlink wire. And I still got my foam, my foam piece of sandpaper that I used to block that hole. It's still there, I never fixed that, so. Oh, solid. Solid. All right, everyone, so last night I finished off my workday by wiring each one of these outlets. This one on this side of the wood stove, that one on the opposite side of the wood stove, that one upstairs, the other one in the upstairs bedroom, another outlet in the downstairs bedroom, and then another outlet in the other downstairs bedroom. So all of those outlets are wired and done. And now I'm in this downstairs bedroom, and inside this closet I am going to run a piece of conduit from that box right there along the ceiling in the closet through this wall, and then that's going to lead over to this hallway right here. And this is a hallway between the kitchen and the bathroom here, and right now there is no lights in the hallway, so it's very dark, and this is the last area of the cabin that I want to install some lights. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then once I'm finished doing that, everything inside this cabin, as far as the outlets, lights, switches, it'll all be done for now. Unless I think of more things I want to put in here in the future, but that will be done, and then I can go over to the garage and wrap things up. I say that like it's gonna be quick and easy, but there's still a lot more that needs to be done in the garage. But let's do the hallway first. One step at a time here. There we go. Okay, if we look inside the closet here, everything turned out pretty good. On the opposite side of the closet, we have my two lights in the hallway, which come down to this switch. So I might speed through all that footage pretty quickly. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's just measuring, cutting. I had to find those two studs, or the rafters that are on the ceiling, to secure those boxes into the rafters, but I actually used the fact that I knew where the rafter was in the shower to measure off of the wall over here and then find the rafters there and there. So it helped that I had done what I did in the shower already. So now everything inside the cabin indoors is wired. So the rest will take place inside the garage. Alrighty folks, final step in this whole process is going to be putting a couple boxes here and wiring up the lights inside the shop so that they all work together. I'm going to do that real quick. Oh, and install a switch over here for the lights, and then we'll be done. All right, the time has come. I'm really not looking forward to this, but now I need to go up into the attic of the garage and wear a mask so that I don't have to breathe in all that fiberglass insulation, and run wires from the lights that are up here down to the switch box that I installed over there, and then run a wire back from the switch box to the power source, which is those boxes down there. Get everything stapled in place, wired up. So man, crawling around in the attic is never fun, but won't take too long, so let's do it. Holy crap. I don't know if you could see that, but I was just laying flat on my belly, reaching out as far as I could reach. Stuck those wires into that little hole over there. Oh my gosh. So the wire runs down there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a hole way down there. That's where the conduit comes up. Here's me, and there's the hole way over there. That was tough. I put jeans and this long sleeve shirt on because I knew I was gonna have to do that to get these wires run through this box. Ugh. So I was up there, laid down here, and pushing those wires through to right here. Gotta fix the insulation after I flattened it out with my body weight. Fluff it back up. Whew. Holy crap, man. Everything's done up here. Let's get out of here. Oh. It's always such a great time hanging out in the attic, spending time up there. Very enjoyable. Now that I got that finished, I can wire up this switch for these lights, and I can make my connections here, and I will be done. No way. So all this right here is going to be the battery power inlet. I'll show you that after I'm done. All right. Black, white ground have all been connected. Okay. All right, everybody, drum roll, please. Are you ready for this? Well, first of all, do you hear that? It's the sound of silence. There is no generator running right now. Watch this. Oh, what? I have power to the garage from my batteries right here. So let me show you what I did. That wire that runs over to the cabin, that yellow wire that I was talking about earlier, and they come this way, and then this yellow one is from the garage. It comes up right here and goes to this outlet, and this wire that I put in here and installed. Now this is the battery inlet. So when I want power at the cabin coming directly from here, I just unplug this or plug it in, and I've got direct to the battery power. And my generator is still under the cabin, and that is going to be its permanent resting place. So when I want generator power, I'll crank that up and it'll stay right there. I'll plug it in using the same cord that used to be there. And while the generator is running over there, what I can do is that provides power to right here, and I can plug in this, which is the charger for the batteries, and plug in the batteries, and it will charge. And I never have to move this. It can just stay right here. But right now, when the batteries are plugged in, now that's providing power to everything. See this outlet? It's got power from the batteries, and the same can be said for every other outlet, every other switch. Once I plug into the battery, the power runs from the batteries through this wire right in here, and then it goes from this box down to this outlet up to the attic of the garage and powers the lights here, and then downstream from this wire powers everything else. Now let's check out the new addition to the wiring family here in the cabin, the hallway lights. What? I have lights. I can see my pantry over there. It's amazing. And of course, I had to do it dimmer switch style, because dimmer switches are just the best. All right, so here's the outlet in the closet. Boom, that works. Now the reason I put the outlet there was so that I could join everything in that box, but also now I can get a light that goes onto the ceiling here inside the closet and just has like a pull string that you can plug into that outlet and use the pull string to turn on, and then you have lights in the closet. Whew, man. Now I get to sit back, relax, sort of relax. I need to edit this video, but I can sit back and enjoy the fruits of my labor, silent power. That generator that's running in the background is my neighbor's generator. It's not my generator, so I have quiet power. Ah, this is so great. I went around and checked all of the outlets to make sure that they worked. That was my final step in this process. But what a feeling, man, what a feeling. It's been such a long time since I wanted to do that. Get everything set up so that the gas generator stays right here. And when I need the power from that, I turn it on and I don't have to move it. And I can have the batteries over here and they can just stay there. And when they need to be charged, all I have to do is plug it in. I don't have to carry it over here or move this over here or do this in this scenario. It's just like, this is where everything is, and all I have to do is plug that in, unplug that, plug that in, turn the switch on, turn the switch off. It's just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks. I'm going to tidy it up, install some new things, repair some old things, anything and everything electrical I'm going to cover in this video. And by the end, I hope to have everything set up so I can have my gas generator in one location, my batteries in the